Your door. Annie, I think it's okay to start whenever you're ready.
Okay, great. All right, guys.
Because we are recording it, we can share it.
Okay, great. So I'll do a little introduction about myself. My name is Annie Geithner. I'm the sustainability intern right now in the town of Vernon. Me and Michelle have sort of been partnered the past couple months to sort of push this walk audit initiative and push it forward. We recently attended a training a couple weeks ago in Hartford, put on by the AARP, to sort of learn about how to do walk audits in a city. We actually walked around downtown Hartford and did it in person. So it was a really great experience. So I'm just going to go through sort of what a walk audit is, why we do them, and then sort of talk more specifically about our Vernon walk audit. All right, let's see if I can share my screen. All right. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Okay.
I can.
Okay, great.
Yes.
So walk audits, what, why, and how. So we have, what is a walk audit? A walk audit is a survey to identify roads and intersections that should be walkable or rollable, but are instead dangerous for pedestrians. So we really want to focus on, are they walkable and are they rollable? Rollable can mean people that need walking aids and also people that are pushing strollers around. These walk audits can help inform local decision makers by prioritizing areas in need of improvement and educating community members about the importance of street and sidewalk design. Why do we do walk audits? Simply because in a living community, people of all ages and abilities should be able to get where they need to or want to go. This should not depend on if you have a car or not. There's a lot of people in communities that will never own a car, never get their license, and they should be able to live and go to work and get the basic necessities that they need. Walkability has also been proven to be very important for health, wealth, and safety of the community. They say that communities that are more walkable are healthier communities. Communities that are walkable are wealthier communities, and they are safer. And of course, you have the sustainability aspect, because if you have the infrastructure to walk safely, individuals are going to choose to walk. How do you do a walk audit? So you perform a walk audit by walking or standing in a designated route or location and making observations and having discussions about what you're experiencing as a pedestrian. The main goal of a walk audit is to really center non-drivers. So we really want to focus on how it feels to be out on a sidewalk or in a place where there is no sidewalk, how that feels in our bodies, and that gives us lived experience. Because I don't know about you, but I do live in downtown Rockville, and I don't really walk around. I use my car a lot of the time, and so I have very little experience of how it feels to walk on the sidewalks down in town. So we use the AARP worksheets to gather data. The AARP has sort of created a whole toolkit for municipalities and organizations that want to do walk audits. And so we're going to take a couple pages from their book to sort of do our own. So these are the worksheets that we will be completing on ours. Michelle and I have had a lot of discussions about what we kind of want to focus on in this walk audit. And one of those things is sidewalk, streets, and crossings. So as you can see here, we have up at the top just the basic, community name, starting location, end location, and then you have time, start and end, and then you have the categories, the sidewalk, the street, and the pedestrian crossing signals. So you go along, and these are sheets that usually you complete after you've walked. It's kind of like a generalization. So we're not going to be on every street and complete one for every street. This will be like the route that you're assigned, you'll complete it for that route. So some of the questions might be, is the sidewalk in good condition without cracks or raised sections? So, if you see 50% of sidewalks that are not in good condition, you would probably write no. And then you can even make a comment saying 50%. So this is just an example of one of the sheets we will be completing at the end of our audits. These are things that the group leaders that are guiding you will point out to you as we are walking. They'll make note of, oh, does this crosswalk have a push to walk mechanism? Like, they'll be able to sort of guide you in your observing. The next sheet is build a better block. So this is about safety and appeal of a location. So this is more like check off like what you think would make this a more appealable or safe route. So, these are more like aesthetics and things like that, like trash receptacles or drinking fountains. And then there's even a section for you to, imagine something of your own that you think would help build a better block. And the last worksheet that we're going to be doing is who's using the street and why. It's really important to take note during a walk audit of who is walking and the purpose that they are walking, so we have who's walking, teens, young children, how. So do they have children? Are they using a mobility aid? Or are they just out, riding a scooter or skateboard? And then you just you really guess the reason that you think they're walking. And then it's just a tally system. So this is probably one of the sheets that you could do while we were walking. It doesn't take too much time or really recall. And then this summary sheet will be completed by me and Michelle. So afterwards, we'll be collecting all of the volunteers, all 3 of those sheets from you guys, from every volunteer, and we'll sort of be tallying up the yes responses, the no's, and then rating them how we see you guys responded. And this will sort of give us data to create a report or a presentation off of, which then we can go to, people in administration about what we have observed, or even presented at a council or a commission meeting. Things to know. So transportation planners and engineers and advocates oftentimes speak in a language that is sometimes confusing to the average reader or resident. What you may consider a ramp, they may call a curb cut. This is important. It's important to know streetscape vocabulary. So if you decide to come out and volunteer, we will give you a packet of those 3 sheets that I just went over, and also these vocab. So I kind of highlighted here a couple that I personally didn't know about before reading it. So if you look over here at number 1, we have pedestrian scaled lighting. So these are light fixtures that are positioned lower to the sidewalk. So more directed towards people walk or roll compared to the really high street lights. Number 4, right here, these yellow things, these are kind of becoming more popular in municipalities and cities. You see them a lot. They're the tactile ground surface indicators, and in my everyday life, I just call those the bumps by the crosswalk. I don't call them the tactile ground surface indicators. But it's important to sort of know that vocabulary. So when we are speaking to, the town engineer or advocates who are really deep into this field, they know what we're talking about and we know what they're talking about. Another example is that I used in the previous slide is the curb cut or curb ramp, which is this sort of graded down part where you would enter into the crosswalk or enter out of the crosswalk to go to the sidewalk. And then we have the pedestrian island, or sometimes called crossing island or refuge island. This protects people who are trying to cross multi-lane roadways. So these are just a couple of examples. Obviously, there's about 14 here. You'll be receiving those in your packets if you decide to come and volunteer on the day of the audit. Oh, we skipped forward. So sorry. Okay, so now to talk specifically about our audit. So we've decided, me and Michelle discussed a lot about like, where are we going to audit? We did a community survey earlier this year to get people's responses of like, where are areas that they think are dangerous or unsafe to walk, areas where they think we should investigate further. So looking through that data, we kind of came up with the idea. A lot of the hotspots that people mentioned were within the cultural district. So Vernon is trying to get a cultural district approved, and we've recently submitted an application. So we decided to do walk in the area that is designated in that application. When that application is approved, the cultural district is going to become an epicenter for diverse economic development. And so to really make that thrive, we want to have high walkable areas within the area that's designated, because a thriving community is a community that can walk to places and are connected through sidewalks. So our audit is broken up into 3 sections. I'll show you on the next slide. It's green, blue, and red. So here is the cultural district is basically the outline of where these colors are. So this is like West Main Street, and sort of Town Hall is right here. And then this is the red section up until Talcott Park will also be covered. And then this is over by Cornerstone. Down this way, we have the hospital and the library all the way down here on West Main Street. And then the green group is going to be the rest of West Main Street up until the dog park, and then up to Union, and then back down. So this is basically the cultural district, and we decided to split it up so it's not, a crazy amount of walking. But yeah, these are the paths that we will be able to assign volunteers to. And then going forward, here's an example of data collection. So this is sort of based off what me and Michelle experienced on our training. So this is your lived experience. When we're out walking, yes, we want to focus on what we're feeling, but also we want to put ourselves in the shoes of what would it feel like in the dark. And it probably will be getting dark when we walk. What would it feel like during snowfall? How would you feel if you were pushing a stroller while holding a child's hand? Or how would you feel if you were visually or hearing impaired? So here I have a section. This is sort of West Main Street. This is kind of that crazy intersection, and then Town Hall's right here. So you'll be receiving a sheet that has a cutout of your route like this. And then you'll be receiving these bullet points. And so here I made the observation, I wrote a 1 on the map, and then I wrote, took 15 seconds to cross, someone with a wheelchair or small child may need more time. And then as I was walking, I came down to here and I made another observation saying 5 lanes of traffic for someone to cross could possibly include a pedestrian island or reduce lanes. So these are just some observations that I made. And while you're being guided by your route leader, they will sort of bring you to hotspots. So this crosswalk is definitely a hotspot. This is definitely a hotspot in this route. So they'll be able to sort of point out areas that we already know are problematic, but feel free to always make observations based on how you're experiencing the walk. And that is that's it. The point of the audit is to bring to light issues that our policy makers may not be aware of. Like I said, I live in town and I don't walk very much. So that could be the same for the people that are making these sort of decisions for the community. So we're really out here being advocates for those people and for change. So yeah, that's basically the gist of a walk audit. If anybody has questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Yeah.
Thank you for that, Annie. My only question is so this data then gets collected after the audit, and then can you give us some like next steps?
Yeah, so next steps would be me and Michelle would sort of compile that data, and we would create a report of what we all experienced and what we did. And then, like I said before, we would present it in some fashion. We could present it to the town administration, the mayor, a council meeting, town council. And And then sort of from there, it's kind of used as a advisory document to advise further decision making. So let's say if we go back to this section where, you know, there is 5 lanes of traffic here, it is a little crazy. If we suggested something like a pedestrian island going forward, that could be now, you know, people that work in public works and engineering now know that, hey, this is an issue for people walking, and to sort of take note of that. It's all just about having this data available, and to make data informed decisions is really kind of what we're trying to
Okay.
do.
So there isn't, and this isn't, I was curious because there's no like designated grant, or there's not like like something specific that this is being used for. It's more in the event that there are decisions to be made to make improvements, this is going to be used for that. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Got it. Thank you.
Yep. Anybody else question or comment or curious about the process or? No? Okay. Well, we will be having our audit on Wednesday, November 20th. So we're kind of hoping to do 2 sessions of walking. Walking audits are really great, and doing them at different times can illuminate different, you know, problems and issues. Especially now that we're in the winter months, it is dark around 4 o'clock. So you'll be experiencing something completely different than if you walked at 9 a.m. So our times are going to be 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. Those are going to be our walking times. We will have those three routes that I showed earlier, red, green, and blue. If you have a preference for what you would like to walk, feel free to reach out to Michelle. We're trying to get more volunteers so that we can really have a lot of people out there. I think me, Michelle, and Matt will all be leading a route. So yeah.
How long do you anticipate it taking for each?
I would say roughly probably around an hour, no
Okay.
greater than like an hour 40, an hour 30, no greater than an hour 30, no shorter than 45 minutes, I would say. I think the middle route and the end route are maybe a tad shorter than the red route, just because I do anticipate the red route having a lot of stopping and discussing. But yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, if you guys don't feel pressured to commit at this moment, Michelle will probably be reaching out to all of our volunteers to sort of get final head counts maybe early next week. But yeah.
Can I
I'm
just
in.
interject for a minute? Oh, sorry, Roland, did you want to say something first?
I just said I'm in.
Oh, good. Fantastic. Really appreciate the help with this. I think both of you did receive an email from me. I just wanted to make sure my email went through to you. Okay, fantastic.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah, so I will reach out to you just, you know, to confirm one way or the other your participation, and whether you'd be interested in, if you are, you know, able to commit, of doing a morning or an afternoon audit with us. And again, if you do have, like Annie said, preferences on what specific area you'd like to be assigned to, that would also be great to know. But again, we really appreciate, you know, volunteers with this project. And if you do have a friend or somebody else you know that lives in the community that you think would enjoy helping us out, please help spread the word. We are trying to get, you know, the key is to get, you know, some diversity with our volunteers, so we can get different perspectives. And so, yeah, we really appreciate you being on here tonight and learning more about this.
Yeah.
Awesome. So I think that kind of wraps us up. So thank you for coming to attend our training and information session. And I hope to see you out there walking with us.
All righty.
All right.
Awesome.
Well, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you
so
very much. Have a great evening.
Thank you. You too.